Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to a brand new episode of my weekly gaming playlist series. We've made it to another Friday, so it's time to talk about the games I've been playing this week, give you guys my thoughts and opinions on whether I think you guys should check them out or not. Of course, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the games I shared today. If you played them before, let me know if there was something you liked about them, maybe there's something you didn't enjoy about them. I'd like to hear about the games you guys have been playing, as that gives me ideas of new games to play. And if you guys have a recommendation on a game you think I might enjoy, let me know, as I'm always looking for new games to play and experience. It's been a couple weeks since my last weekly gaming playlist video, and that's because I actually haven't really been doing a whole lot of gaming this month, as it's been kind of a rough month for me. I started off the month and I got sick, and so did my wife. We both had a fever for a little while, and then it was stuffy nose and stuff. Ended up being just a cold, but it really wore us both out, and I didn't even feel like doing anything. I went to work and then just came home and slept a lot. I didn't really eat a whole lot, just chicken soup and stuff. And then I finally got over that, and I'm like, cool, okay, I'm feeling better, now we can do some gaming. And then I woke up and my back was a little sore. I went to work and my back got really sore there, and I felt like I pulled a muscle or something, and I was just kind of hobbling around all day, and it just was like a rough week of my back being sore. It was tough to sit down and stand up, and walking around just really hurt and was not a fun experience, and so I just was not in the mood to game. But then it started feeling better on Wednesday, and that's when I actually started to play a game that I rented from Gamefly that came in last week that I wanted to start, but I just wasn't up to it. And that game is Star Trek Resurgence. And I don't have the actual physical game case because I'm renting it from Gamefly right now, but I am planning to buy it because I'm really enjoying it. Now, what's interesting about this Star Trek game is that it's a game that plays just like the Telltale games. Have you guys ever played The Walking Dead or the Batman, where you move the characters around with a stick and push buttons to interact with the environment and quick time events and stuff? That's what this game has, and that's what it is. And it was actually created by former members of the Telltale series. So the people who worked on The Walking Dead, they worked on the Game of Thrones, the Batman and stuff, they actually left Telltale and created their own studio called Dramatic Labs, and this is actually the first game they ever released. Now, it launched for $39.99, and it was originally digital only back in May of this year, but in October of this year they actually released a physical version of it, and I've been waiting to get a copy from Gamefly, as they haven't had a whole lot of copies available, and so I was looking forward to checking it out because I love these kind of games, and I love Star Trek, and it's been a while since I played a new Star Trek game. So let me read you guys just a little synopsis about the story. So take on the role of Jara Rydek and Carter Diaz. You get to play as two different characters in the game, which is really cool. So two different perspectives. Two crew members of the USS Resolute on a diplomatic mission to broker peace between alien factions. While attempting to prevent war, you'll discover a far greater danger, an eons-old and powerful force that threatens to engulf the galaxy. Set soon after the events of Star Trek The Next Generation, and then featuring appearances by Ambassador Spock, so it's really cool Spock is in the game. Obviously, this game is made after Leonard Nimoy died, but they did get a pretty good voice actor for him. And featuring appearances by Captain William T. Riker, which is voiced by Jonathan Frakes. So the guy who played William Riker in the Star Trek Next Generation, he actually came to voice act in this game, which is really cool. He's always been a really big fan of the Star Trek series, and he enjoys the fans. And he's actually been in fan films and comic books and stuff. So he's actually done voices for his character for different people over the years, as he's really embraced the character. So it's really awesome that he decided to be a part of this game. So it's really cool. And then Star Trek Resurgence just expands upon the Star Trek universe. So it takes place after the Dominion War, after Deep Space Nine and Voyager and The Next Generation and all that stuff. But it's just really cool. I'm liking the story so far. It's awesome because you have different choices you can make in the game. And it's just a really good Star Trek game, and I'm a big fan of it. So let's check out Star Trek Resurgence. Alright, today we're taking a look at Star Trek Resurgence. So this is a really cool Star Trek game, released for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, the Xbox Series consoles, also on the PC. I'm a huge fan of Star Trek, and I've played a lot of the games over the years since the early 90s. And I heard there was a new Star Trek game coming out this year, and I knew I wanted to check it out. Now, this originally released in May of 2023, but I was really disappointed because it was digital only at first. But the studio did say later in the year they were going to release a physical version, which I decided I'll just wait till they get the physical one out, and it did launch October 6th. I did plan to pre-order this game, but I ended up forgetting about it, and then I remember seeing an ad for it on GameFly after it had been released, saying, you know, hey, there's a new Star Trek game out, you should check it out. And I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to check it out. So I added it to my list of games to rent, but for a while there was not a whole lot of copies available to rent. And so finally there was enough copies, and GameFly sent it to me last week, and I wanted to finally check it out here. Now this is a really cool action-adventure Star Trek game that plays just like the Telltale games. So if you guys have ever played The Walking Dead, or The Batman, or Game of Thrones, or any of the number of Telltale games, this is a Star Trek version of that, because it was actually created by former members of the Telltale team that worked on those games. They left and created their own studio, Dramatic Labs, and this is the first game they ever created, and it was created by fans of the Star Trek universe. So let's check it out. And we'll just resume my game here, which I just started at the very beginning over again. I played for like an hour, but I decided just to restart it over here and share it with you guys, so you guys get a little idea of the story, which I don't want to ruin because it is heavily story focused, but you guys get an idea of how the game plays and stuff. So let's check it out. Does have pretty good voice acting. However, you will notice sometimes different characters will have the same voice actor, and that's just how it is in these kind of games, because they did have a smaller development studio. Got pretty good visuals too, though, and music I do like, and sounds taken right from the Star Trek TV shows and movies.
Captain's log, stardate 57931.4. The crew is restless. After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, we're finally about to venture out on a new mission. And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down. They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them. Fortunately, nothing ever stays the same. It's entropy. Nature of the universe. Change is inevitable. And while entropy says order gives way to chaos, in this case, change is good. Our new first officer is en route to the Resolute. Jara Rydek. I know she'll bring a welcome dose of new blood to the crew.
So right there is where you have to, you know, issue the commands and stuff to interact.
Thanks.
No problem.
I'm not great with flying. But these little shuttles are the worst.
You don't like flying. And yet, you joined Starfleet.
There's a reason I'm not a pilot.
You should try it sometime.
So again, just like the Telltale games, you know, your choices will impact the story of how characters view you based on how you interact with them.
Anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
It won't be easy for Jara to step in at the 11th hour like this. But if she's half the officer I knew she could become when she was a cadet at Starfleet Academy, she'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
It's cool seeing different ships there. There's some new ones. There's an Excelsior class ship. Pretty sure I saw a Miranda class ship. So it's really awesome seeing all the different ships from the Star Trek universe, because this takes place right after the end of Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, The Next Generation, Voyager, all that kind of stuff. And you get to play as 2 different characters too, which is cool. The commander here. You also get to play as an ensign. And now you get the control in this game where you can interact with stuff and explore. Which the ship looks... This is a space station, but you can see the interior has the classic Star Trek look to it.
A starbase on the very edge of Federation space. Long way from home now.
And this opening level here is a tutorial, get you to know how to play. But look at that awesome view there of that storm out in space. The cool blues and the orange and red. Like, that'd make an amazing painting right there. That looks awesome. Very cool. Fantastic music as well.
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalum test?
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5. Anyway, I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class. I mean, all time.
So you can determine how... Now you can choose how you're going to react to him.
So, there's that.
Really? That's quite impressive.
Thank you. It was tough. But you know, I set my mind to it and it paid off.
So, you know, you could have been kind of a dick to him, or do you want to be kind of nice? So, there's different choices you'll make throughout these games, which is really awesome. So, definitely adds the replay value of wanting to replay it. And then you got to move your stick around to interact. And now, you learn about who this character is that you play as.
Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait, you're Jara Rydek? You absolutely crushed the Torvalum test. You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really... It's an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid ground, so to speak.
The pleasure's mine, Ensign.
Paul Calloway.
Good to meet you.
I believe Commander Ermont is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
See you on the Resolute.
So you can go into the pause menu, and you can actually check on the crew and see. And then you can see that he was grateful for my sense of humor when he was nervous on the shuttle flight. So it keeps track of how you interact with the other characters in the game. You also have your old basic controls, tell you how to control stuff, different modes. So just tutorial stuff is in here, and then you can adjust settings like motion blur if you want on, and the brightness and subtitles. You can invert the y-axis and sound effects and music. You know, you can overall adjust things like that. So it's basic, but it has some decent controls. And I noticed when the game doesn't want you to go back somewhere, they put up force fields randomly, so you can't go back. But just an interesting way to keep you moving, because it's not like an open world game. You know, there's a story that you're going through and play, so you can't just freely explore the ship whenever you would like. But the whole thing is playing through a really cool story, and there's missions where you get to pilot a shuttle, you get to do some combat and stuff, solve puzzles, interact
Good day, Commander.
with crew members and stuff. So it's just a really cool game. You guys also get to see Carter. I'll get to play as him in just a few minutes from here. But there's all kinds of different stuff you can interact with too in different areas, and you can hear clues and stuff by listening to crew members talk.
Briefing, Commander Ermont is a Bolian, so I'm looking for someone with blue skin.
And that little indicator there is where you can indicates where you can interact with stuff.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just... Well, I'm not sure where my departure dock is. The Resolute's gonna leave without me.
Look here. The Resolute is leaving from this dock.
Oh, you're right. Nerves must be getting to me. Thanks so much, Commander.
Game controls pretty well, you know, similar to other Telltale type games.
Starbase 128 has 4 docks. I'll replicate myself a meal once I'm on board. Excuse me, have you seen a Bolian around here?
Yes, sir. Right back there, near the replicator.
Ah, there he is. Thank you.
Happy to help, Commander.
Excuse me.
Did you hear the Resolute's getting a new first officer?
Someone from the crew got promoted?
No, get this. They're from a different ship.
Ooh, wonder how the crew feel about that.
It makes them look desperate. Is their crew that bad?
Yeah, not a good look.
The lady does the voice acting of that random character. I've heard her in several other video games over the years, so that's really cool. To hear some familiar voices.
You're going to the Resolute too?
Yeah, not the ship I was hoping for.
Why's that?
Well, you haven't heard? Some kind of accident. Their warp core overloaded.
Oh, whoa. That's a big deal.
They spent 6 months fixing it up.
Was it the captain's fault?
That's the rumor, yeah.
So you'll see you'll run into that in these smaller developed games where they'll have the same person voice act multiple side characters, so hear the same voice again. But it gets forgiven in these kind of smaller developed games.
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermot, Operations Officer on the Resolute. Commander? I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now. I know conditions are less than ideal at the moment.
It was a bit bumpy, but otherwise okay.
My apologies. This storm is unlike anything I've seen before. We're grateful you were able to come fill our first officer vacancy at such short notice. From everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a premier starship and all. To our little research vessel.
What exactly have you heard about me?
First in your class at the Academy. Received the Starfleet Award of Valor during the Dominion War. Most recently, Tactical Officer and Chief of Security on the USS Endeavor.
You've done your homework.
Like I said, we're very lucky.
It's pretty awesome seeing how big these ships in the Star Trek universe are compared to the size of humans. They're pretty big, even though they consider this a small ship.
She may not look like much compared to the bigger ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold her own. And she doesn't look so bad considering 6 months ago she was nearly cracked in half venting plasma fighting for her life.
It was an accident?
The equipment malfunctioned. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame. It was a planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency, but it was more than she could handle. Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew. At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other. That's what it means to be a crew.
I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like for you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It does weigh heavy. There are some things you can't forget.
Did you lose anyone close to you?
Too many. And to that I'll just say, you have big shoes to fill. Listen, I realize you've known Captain Solano for quite some time, and I'm sure you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake, that he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly first, until they come to value your contributions as much as he does.
Thank you. Always good to have a sense for what you're walking into.
I just thought you ought to know.
I appreciate it.
Starfleet has assigned us a high-priority mission to the Hotari region.
So see, now it's telling you can go here and see, and then it says, I made a good first impression on Commander, coming off as inquisitive and appreciative while showing empathy to what the crew suffered. So just gives you a little idea of how the crew's reacting to your choices of how you interact with them, which is pretty cool.
I'll let the captain brief you on board. I know he's eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
Now we get to jump into the shoes of our other playable character here, Carter.
Stuck. I got just the thing.
See, I'll tell you what thing, and you need a plasma torch. Here we go.
Is that.
Has the cool teleport noise taken right from Star Trek The Next Generation, which is really awesome.
I thought the thing was totally fried. Nice work, Carter.
Nothing to it, Millie.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering. Like, now.
So I just want to give you guys a little look at the game. It's really awesome. If you love Star Trek games, and you love games like the Telltale series type of games, you'll definitely enjoy this. Like I said, just a little taste there. There's choices for you to make. There's also combat in this game, puzzles to solve. You get to control and fly a shuttlecraft. Just a really awesome game that's definitely worth checking out. And it launched only $40 too, so definitely want to think you guys should check out. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed that look at Star Trek Resurgence. Like I said, I'm just a huge fan of the Star Trek series. I love those Telltale games. They're really fun to go through the stories and stuff. There's different things you can do, that affect the story and how characters view you, and different things you can do. You can also die and fail and have to restart in the game from doing something wrong with like the quick time events, and I just really like it. It's just really awesome. I've played it for a few hours and I'm really enjoying it, and it definitely has replay value because you can replay it and pick different sides, because you might be like in the heat of a battle or something, or a crisis moment, and person A wants you to do their thing, or do you do what person B wants? What are the consequences of doing either person's command, you know, this might affect this person, this might affect that person. Like, it's just really cool having different decisions to make that can affect the overall story. And it was really cool having Spock in the game and William T. Riker in it, which is voiced by Jonathan Frakes. I really love it. Definitely an awesome game. And I'm really looking forward to what this Dramatic Studios can do, especially with their first game. Now, I heard that the game had some bugs and issues, but so far I haven't really encountered too much. I've seen a couple little graphical tears here and there, but it's definitely to be expected with a studio's first game. But they are working on patches and stuff, so they'll be able to iron out. And I would definitely love to see them make some more Star Trek games and what other stuff they might have in the pipeline. So really cool. Definitely you guys should check out Star Trek Resurgence. You can get it on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, a PC. You can play it on PS5, Xbox Series X. Really cool game. I definitely think you guys should check out. So let me know if you guys played Star Trek Resurgent, or if you're thinking about maybe getting it. I'd love to know about the games you guys have been playing. And if you guys have a recommendation on a game you think I might enjoy, let me know, as I'm always looking for new games to play and experience. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day. And Sleepy will see you next time.